Sometimes you want to zoom in and show a detail of some connection in your building at a bigger scale. A detail is just a section drawing at a big scale. The sheet numbering, notice in these sheet sets we've been working our way from bigger to smaller, from general to specific. So in the numbering of the sheet sets, the 300s were sections, the 500s are details, even though they're actually sections. And we number the details. If you want to show a direction arrow showing that a section was cut and you want to show which way you're looking, you would add an arrow. Sometimes you just want to show this is a typical detail and you just draw a circle with no arrow over it. You still have the name of the detail in the top and the page number where they will find it in the bottom. And you always give the title of the detail, what this is, and you always give the scale of the detail, and you always give this bubble that shows its name and its page number, just like you put on the floor plan. If you're in an office that's using D-size sheets and you're doing larger drawings, you might have several sheets that are nothing but details, and those sheets will get divided into modules with one detail in each module. As you're laying out these details in your sheet set, if you have a lot of them, you put them in your drawing set in the order in which the contractor builds them. So you would start with footing and foundation details. You start at the bottom. Then if you have some wall connection, maybe the floor or subfloor, that comes next. Then at the very top you show what is happening at the roof. How does the rafter connect? What is the truss doing? You'll add whatever dimensions are critical and notes that talk about what the thing is. About dimensions, I want to give you a couple of professional tips. One tip is your drawing will look much more professional if you try to make everything all lined up. So notice this string of 3 dimensions on the left, they're all lined up, and the drafter used O-snaps to get them right in the same line. This drawing on the right is the same object, but it has dimensions that bounce around, some on top, some on bottom. This one on the right is really harder to read, and it takes your builder more time to try and sort through. This one on the left, where everything's all lined up, makes your contractor's job easier and faster, and it makes you look good. Also, when you're pointing at things with a leader line, maybe you have a note that says this is such and such material, and you have a leader line, do not cross over the dimension line with that leader. And the dimension line is the one that the text runs along, the dimension text runs along. It's the one that has the tick marks on it. So don't cross that one. One way to get around that is to take your dimension and pull it out farther away from the object. That carves out some space inside where you can put your note. And by the way, it is okay for your leader line to cross over the extension line, and oftentimes you have to do that. We just avoid crossing the dimension line. We keep our notes in a logical order so that we make our contractor's job easier. We make them logical. And notice in this drawing how several of the notes look like they were all, lined up on a construction line. He didn't do as good a job at that as some people do. But that really makes it easier for your builder to sort through all these words and find the one they want. And it makes you look good. Again, it's a professional looking drawing. side to side, try to line them up as well too, like these are on the same level. When you write notes, there's a standard way to write them, and it's short and terse. Short, and you're not writing a novel here, and you don't use brand names. So sheetrock is a brand name. Formica is a brand name. We don't use those. We say gypsum board and laminated plastic. And we use standard industry standard words. And if we have to give the size, we go size, then what it is, then other things they might need to know, like what is the spacing. If there are abbreviations, you don't make up your own, you use standard industry abbreviations. So for example, here's this one that you've used before. OC stands for on center. The next one underneath with these 2x4s, what is that? DFPT. Can you guess what that is? It's a mudsill, so PT might be pressure treated. And what kind of wood is that? DF, Douglas fir. So this is a Douglas fir pressure treated sill. Just like you often make blocks for your details, you will often make blocks for your standard notes too. So you don't, when you're working it for a firm, you don't have to type all these words constantly. They've got these stored as blocks. And so you just go to the block library, grab the note you want, and stick it on there. And now I've just harvested a few examples of details from here and there. Here are some footing details. Oh, and here's a window over here. Here's a sill showing the contractor this connection. Here are some window details. You only need these if there's something unusual going on. And here are some eave details showing how does the rafter connect to the wall, or down at the bottom, is there a fascia board covering that space? So they will need to know that. Do they just have open rafters, or are they supposed to put a fascia under there?